birthday, and George H.W. Bush is a man of his word. A few weeks later, Laura and I arrived for the birthday celebration in Kennebunkport, Maine. The jump logistics were complete, the party was planned, and Mother was now on board. The afternoon before the jump, I sat next to Dad on the porch of his beloved home at Walker's Point, perched on a rocky outcropping over the Atlantic. I had been painting an ocean scene and was wearing cargo pants stained with oil paint. For a few peaceful moments, we stared quietly at the sea. "What are you thinking about, Dad?" I asked. "It's just beautiful," he said, looking out at the ocean. It seemed that he had said all that he wanted to say. We sat quietly for a few more minutes. Was he reflecting on the jump? His life? God's grace? I did not want to interrupt. Then he spoke. "Do those pants come in clean?" I laughed, something I'd been doing with my father all my life. His quip was typical. He was not nervous about his jump or his life. He was at peace, and he was sharing his joy with others. The morning of Dad's birthday, June 12th, dawned chilly and gray. There was a modest breeze, about 15 miles per hour. At first, we feared that the clouds might force a change in plans. Fortunately, the veteran paratroopers coordinating the jump, known as the All-Veteran Group, determined that the visibility was sufficient. The mission was a go. The crew fired up the Bell 429 helicopter that was parked on the lush green lawn outside the 2-story wooden cabin that served as Dad's office at Walker's Point. Dad was clad in a custom-fitted black flight suit with a patch that read 41 at 90. His pre-flight routine included a final weather clearance, a harness check, and an interview with my daughter Jenna, a correspondent for the Today Show. Even with his jump looming, he was willing to share his time to help his granddaughter. "What's your birthday wish on your 90th birthday?" Jenna asked. "For happiness for my grandkids," he replied. "I hope they have the same kind of life I have for 90 years, full of joy." He did make one more wish. Make sure the parachute opens. Family and friends gathered at the landing zone, the lawn of my parents' church, St. Anne's, the same place that Dad had landed 5 years earlier, and that his parents had been married 93 years earlier. As Mother put it, if the jump did not succeed, at least we wouldn't have to travel far for the burial. At about 10:45, one of the members of the jump team approached me. "Mr. President," he said, "your father's airborne." A few minutes later, we spotted a small speck in the sky, the chopper at 6,500 feet. After the helicopter made a circle around the church, we saw several chutes pop open. 2 belonged to the video jumpers tasked with chronicling the leap. The other was a large red, white, and blue chute carrying Dad and master jumper Mike Elliott, who was making his 3rd jump with Dad and his 10,227th jump overall. The crowd cheered as the tandem headed our way. "They're sure coming in hot," my brother Marvin said with a touch of worry. He was right. The wind had taken the chute off course. Mike corrected with a hard turn in the final descent. Dad slammed into the ground, skidded a few feet, and then face-planted into the grass. The crowd went silent. Would he get up? Was he hurt? No one moved until the ground crew lifted him into the wheelchair. The grandkids struck up a chorus of happy birthday to camouflage their anxiety. Finally, the sea of uniforms parted. George H.W. Bush had a smile on his face. I grabbed Mother, and we walked toward Dad. She leaned over and gave him a kiss. I followed with a handshake and a hug. "How'd it feel?" I asked. "Cold," he said. "I'm sure proud of you, Dad," I said. "That was an awesome jump." He pointed to his partner. "Mike did all the work," he said. The scene captured the character of George Bush. He was daring and courageous, always seeking new adventures and new challenges. He was humble and quick to share credit. He deflected attention from himself and refused to brag about his accomplishments. He trusted others and inspired their loyalty. And above all, he found joy in his family and his faith. Nothing made him happier than being surrounded by his wife, children, and grandchildren in a place where he had so many wonderful memories. After the jump, Dad returned to Walker's Point to eat, take a nap, and prepare for the 250 family members, friends, and Bush administration alumni attending the birthday party that night.